Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to create a three-dimensional map in QGIS using LiDAR data. So this is in Oregon. Finding LiDAR data is not super easy for each state. Sometimes whole states don't do it. In California, I think it's left up to the counties and cities to do it. It's very easy to find the Sonoma LiDAR data because Sonoma County spent a lot of money putting that project together. Oregon is very easy because the entire state of Oregon, or the majority of the populated areas, have been done with LiDAR, so they have a really nice little interface. So if you just search Oregon LiDAR data and then just click on this here, and then go to explore the LiDAR data, and then just click OK, and then you can see where LiDAR has been done in the state of Oregon. So it's all of Western Oregon, and then they've done the gorge. They've done the Bend area. I think eventually they're going to do the entire state. This is getting bigger and bigger every time I come in here and look at it. But they've started with the heavily populated areas, obviously, first. So you go ahead and you search your address. So in our case, it's going to be Doakes Ferry Road, Salem, Oregon. Search for it, so there it is. And so now we're going to download. You'll see. I'll zoom out and show you. This whole pixel here, this big square, that's all one big LiDAR file. And so we're going to go ahead and download that. Sometimes if you're going to create a three-dimensional map, sometimes you may have to download two rasters, like two pixels, and then you can merge them together, which maybe I can show you in a later video how to merge raster files together. So then you click on the three dots here, or actually you're going to, there we go. We double click on the square, and you just go download GIS data. And it's going to take quite a while to actually download this, so you can just kind of leave it for an hour or two while it downloads. All right, so now what you're going to get is a file. Looks like this. It says LDQ 441231, whatever this means. You click into it, and then you're going to find this 2009 OLC Willamette Valley. And then what we want is bare earth. So click on that. And then we need to find the file that's associated with the raster, which I believe might be this one. Yes. So it's that first one there, this dblbnd.adf file. Okay. So looks pretty cool. So you can kind of see what it's saying. So this is the river here. There's a couple islands, and you can see it's going up in elevation. So what we want to do to make this a three-dimensional map, so we're going to take this. We don't need it, obviously, on top of everything. So we're going to bring it down to the bottom. And it's going to underlay all of our layers here. And then if we go into, let's find 3D map. So new 3D map view. And I'm sure by the time you look at this, it's all going to be different on QGIS. All right, so then we go into the wrench here and elevation. So this is where we're going to choose what's going to be our elevation layer. And so this is the LiDAR data here. Click on that, and then I use a vertical scale of 0.5. And I started doing a skirt height of 20 it's kind of smooths it out a little bit. You can show labels if you want. So go ahead and click OK. And then it takes a little bit to render it. All right, so now let's go ahead and make this thing full screen. And then what you do is you can hit Shift, and then you left click with this hand, and then you kind of drag it. And then now you've got yourself a three-dimensional map. And you can see it'll take some time for it to load everything up if we're dealing with the entire file. If we could cut the file down and not deal with all of the LiDAR data, and it will go a bit quicker. But you can see, we can zoom in here, right, and we can see that Shemeketa is on the vineyard's on the south-facing slope, and then we go behind. The slope goes up here, and then there's a big slope right there. Okay, and so we can, if we wanted to accentuate that even more, we can go in here and change the vertical scale. So do it to 1. And just let it, again, it's just going to kind of load the tiles in there. So there you can see it's a little more accentuated. It's still kind of loading it. But that's kind of a nice little feature. You can create little animations too. So you can do these if you go into this play button and you say, say actually, let's go ahead and let's get rid of the 0 seconds. So click minus. And then, so we're going to start our little animation up here, say. So 0 seconds, we're going to be there. Let's get rid of where it's going to bring us actually at 5 seconds, we'll be there. That's fine. And then we'll say at 10 seconds, we'll be right there. And then we can maybe start moving around the image. So at 20 seconds we'll be there, and then at click here, and then type in, say, 30 seconds we'll be there, and then maybe 40 seconds we'll be here, and then at 50 seconds we'll be back here, and then maybe we want to hold it here, so we'll keep it there until 60 seconds, and then we'll start zooming out. So this is where we're going to be at 70. Okay, so here's how that animation will look. So it's going to zoom in, and then it's going to start moving around in a counterclockwise direction. Okay, and now it's going to stop right there for like 10 seconds. And then it's going to zoom back out. So that's a pretty nice little feature, especially if you're just trying to show like stakeholders parts of the vineyard or something. And then you can also do stuff like you can turn things on and off. If you go into here, if we turn these labels off, it'll turn off in the map. There's no way to save this, to save these videos. So the way that you do it, right, is download. So I'm using a program called Screencast-O-Matic right now to capture this presentation. So you go ahead and just download a program like that, and then just do a screen capture of this 3D rendering. You lose resolution, obviously, when you do this with a screen capture, which is a bummer. It still looks pretty good. But yeah, I mean, the other way to do it is just do it live for people. You can see here too that there's some gaps in this image. This is due to the skirt height. We can make that better by increasing the skirt height, and there'll be some overlap in there. Okay, so that's how you create 3D images. The other thing you can do with the LiDAR data is you can use that as a way to create contours. So if you go into extraction and then you do contours, and so let's go, here we go. So raster, extraction, contour. Input layer is going to be that LiDAR data, which is that one band. And this is the interval between the contour lines. I believe it's in feet. So let's go ahead and do 50 feet here. Yeah, let's do 50 feet. And then, okay, if we want to save it, we can. I'm not going to save the contour lines. I'm just going to leave it as a temporary file. Ooh, and this is actually going to do contours over the entire area, which I don't want to do. Okay, it actually doesn't look like I have a choice. So input, yeah, 50 feet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run that. Okay, so now all the contours have been done, and so we've done contours for the entire extent of the raster data, the LiDAR. We can clip that if we want to. So you can see there's actually two contour layers for some reason. And we can add labels onto that. So just go to Properties and Labels, and then we're going to add a single label rule, and then we're going to do elevation, and then maybe using a white lettering. And there we go. So you can see the Chemeketa Vineyard falls between 350 feet above sea level to about 400 feet above sea level. Okay, so that's pretty good. And those will show up in the 3D maps as well. Okay, and then if we wanted to clip this and we only wanted the contour lines for, say, this area, what we would do is go to Clip, and this is actually a vector. So we're going to go ahead and say Clip Vector by Extent. So it's contours, and then our clipping extent, we're going to select it on the canvas. So I'm going to say I only want the contour lines for this area. Cool, and then I could save it if I want, but I don't want to do that, so I'm going to run it. Okay, so now we've got those lines clipped. So there you can see we have just that area, and again we just can go through and add the labels, just as we did before. And there we go. So now you've got some contour data in there. And so if we pull up the our three-dimensional rendering here, you can see it's all starting to load in there as well. And again, it's taking a long time. So what we can do to make this go quicker in here and render faster and better, so obviously we don't need all of Salem in our LiDAR thing, so we can clip the LiDAR data to only include what we want. So we go, again, clip, and then clip raster by mask layer or clip raster by extent. I'm going to go ahead and clip by extent in this one. So just clip raster by extent, and then take your LiDAR data, clip by extent. You click on the three dots here, select extent on canvas, and I'm going to only take, let's just say from here. This is what I want from my LiDAR. And again, we could save it as a permanent file. If we wanted to, I'm just going to keep it as a temporary, and then so run it. So there's now our clipped LiDAR. So again, we want to put this beneath all of the other layers. And so I'm just going to get rid of this. I don't need it. And then if we go and look at our 3D map view again, and create, so use the clipped LiDAR data that we just did. That all looks good. I'm going to increase this skirt height to 20. And click O, and then I'm going to show labels. Click OK. There, you can see it loaded much faster because it's not trying to load a ton of tiles from the raster. There you go. So it's loading. It's loading fairly quickly right now. And it will start to speed up once you kind of like hang out for a little bit. So now you can see it's doing pretty good. We still got some skirt height problems, so there's some gaps there. So we might increase that skirt height to 30. So it's filling in those gaps relatively well, but we still might increase that to 40. That's pretty good. Still got some gaps, but it's not terrible. Okay, so that's how you do it. That's how you create 3D maps. Yeah, really just have a play around with it and see how you go. It's going to get, this is probably going to get better and easier to use. You know, probably be able to save stuff eventually. Yeah, the other thing you can do is, yeah, increase resolution on tiles, which can make things look a little crisper. Yeah, that's it. That's how you create the 3D maps and how you overlay contours using LiDAR data as your base. The other thing you can use as a base for contours is digital elevation models, which are really easy to find on the internet. They're not as accurate. They're not nearly as accurate as LiDAR, but they're good enough for the most part. So yeah, if you're doing this and you're not in a state like Oregon or parts of California, and you don't have easy access to LiDAR data for your area, then using a digital elevation model will do the trick for the contours.